my tale.
This stuff really worked. I gotta get more for sure.
It's not too late. If we destroy the Dweller, the vampire's curse will be lifted.
REALMS came about after Blackout. After we did Blackout, I was contemplating whether I should do a feature or not. And I said, well, I want to do a feature, but I feel like I was ready to do a feature based on one story. So I sat down and I said, well, probably the best way to attack it would be to do an anthology. And I like anthology movies like Creepshow and Tales from the Dark Side. And so I'm like, I need to make one. So and then doing an anthology, I can basically tackle ideas that I really wanted to do. I wanted to do like a slasher movie, and I wanted to do I wanted to do a zombie movie, but we just really didn't have the budget to do that segment. And I always wanted to tackle vampires and whatnot. So I figured an anthology would be the best way to tackle it.
Basically, my job is to fill in the cracks. Robert is a very talented in many areas, and sometimes he spreads himself too thin, really, especially since what his true love is directing. But he's amazing to be able to do all the things that he does. My job is to be there to make sure that anything that he doesn't or can't or it doesn't have time to do, I jump in.
The original title was called Beyond the Realm of Darkness. And as I was telling people my idea for the movie, I kept saying, Beyond the Realm of Darkness, Beyond the Realm of Darkness. And I'm like, that's kind of a long title. After talking about it, I said, I got to cut the title down a little bit. So I came up with Realms of Blood, which actually, the title Realms of Blood was on the original Fear Film site back in 2001. There was a section on the Fear Film site. It was called Realms of Blood. And I always liked that title.
I go and pick up equipment. I rent equipment. I get programs. I help provide part of the budget to shoot things. I bounce off story ideas or concepts for logo design. I do graphic design. Whatever. Like I said, I'm the fill-in. Sometimes I'll do. I've had the opportunity and the privilege to be able to do some of the special effects shoots. Some of the scenes that you get to see, for example, when Owen gets his head ripped off, I had the opportunity to develop that particular scene and other scenes as well.
I started sitting down, writing the original idea for the wraparound segment. I started writing, I think it was March or April, and then that led into the first segment, Painkiller. Which I had the idea of doing Painkiller. Basically, I wanted to do a slasher movie, but I wanted to do something different.
Our next major production after Blackout, of course, has been Realms of Blood. And every production that I've had the opportunity to do with Fear Film has been a complete step up on a notch. I mean, we're not talking about 100, going up 10% or 20%. We've increased by 100+% on every production that we've done.
So basically, I had the idea, and I started hatching out the outline for the story for Painkiller. And I asked a friend of mine, Kim Allen. She had went to film school in Orlando, and I asked her to help me write it because I had a lot of female parts in the story, and I wanted a female perspective in trying to write the segment. So I brought her in, and we sat down and we hashed out Painkiller.
You gonna roll this one?
Okay, silence.
Okay, quiet please. Okay, roll it. And action.
It's been a struggle. I mean, it's been a really big struggle because money's not always been, it's never been easy, and it's never easy in independent film, but, we've had some circumstances amongst all of us that have been endeavoring, that has been challenging. It's been really challenging. but it shows you where your true love is.
After I completed writing Painkiller, the next step in the process was casting. And I needed to cast the lead for Julia. And the first person that came to mind was this actress that we'd worked with before. Her name was Sheyenne Rivers.
Well, I've grown up in Florida my whole life, South Florida, born in Hollywood. Both my parents are entertainers, so it kind of just ran in the blood. Basically, I started acting when I was about 17, 18 years old. Mom owns a talent agency. Dad sings and entertains people, so it just kind of came normally to me. And that's about it. Just been working with Rob for a couple years now, I think. Gosh, almost a year and a half. So that's about it. I kind of started getting more into this acting thing with him, more so different types of characters and actually being able to act rather than just play a typecast part. You know, none of the dumb Bond parts with Rob, you know.
Sheyenne, ironically, actually tried out for the lead in a movie we did called Blackout, but we didn't cast her.
I got an email about the casting for Fear Film, for Blackout. So I actually was really nervous. It was one of the first film auditions that I have done, because I did a lot of theater and stuff like that, but never real film. And film has always scared me more than theater. Theater, there's a lot of people. For some reason, when there's an intimate environment, film freaks me out.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
He just went crazy. Him being drunk and all, he came at me with the knife and tried to kill me.
But yeah, so I went to audition, and you guys didn't pick me. But it's okay, I'm here now, you know.
We ended up working with her again on a local commercial that we produced and I directed. She was one of the extras, and that led to another job that we did for another horror film where we did some second unit work, and she did some acting. After that, I asked her to see some of her previous work and her reels and whatnot, and I saw that she was really just an extreme talent, and we needed to work with her.
But from that, I remember you actually, John Fish, producer guy, yeah, he ran out and you asked me. You said, "Who sent you?" You know, and you were kind of excited about it. I don't know why, but you were like, you know, it was, you know, good or whatever. And because of, and this goes to say about, you know, you guys, the way you handle things is you're not, you know, oh, well, we're too good for this person or that person. You kept my number, and I think that Rob called me about a commercial that you guys did. For a computer tech school or whatever, and I went in, and that's when I did the commercial. And then from then on, that's when I started working with Rob, and we started working together within the company and all that good stuff. So that's when I got involved with that. And then he was talking about, you know, this film Realms of Blood he wanted to do, and I was there for the whole writing process and all that good stuff. And then and then after that, he asked me to write a song for Realms of Blood, and that's the song that you hear in the beginning credits. And my voice is a little different because I have a band, I Digress. And the way I sing with I Digress is different than I sing in this opening credits thing. And I wrote these really deep, weird lyrics that I didn't know where it was coming from. But from working with Rob, that's where it came from. He pulled a side out of me I didn't know I had. But yeah, so I auditioned. You guys didn't cast me for that, but that's okay. Catherine did a really good job in that. So
I can't say enough about Sheyenne. She's beautiful. She can sing. She can act. She's just a true talent, and I know that she's going to be huge one day. So we're glad that she's on board, and she, you know, helped us on this film, and I see a bright future for Sheyenne.
In the first one, Painkiller, I played Julia. And she's kind of a waitress. That one kind of was more of a typecast to myself, because especially at that time, what was it, almost a year ago now, I was a waitress and doing all that before I got into full-time music and acting. So that was kind of more of a role that I took on, and I was like, yeah, okay, I could play this because it's me. And I played that role, and I'm basically the woman who is being chased by this killer because of the chick who I pick up, because I feel sorry for her, and I see her running and blah, 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 and well, you'll see the movie.
When we were casting for the Painkiller, the first person that came into my mind was Bob Glazier.
I'm originally from Connecticut. Got transplanted here with my parents in 1954. So I really only played in the snow. I never had to shovel it, or I walked to school in it, that was it. Played in it. And watched Dad out there cussing and shoveling. And I went to high school in Florida, Miami. And been working in the movies since '84. Started off with Mean Seasons with Mariel Hemingway and Kurt Russell. That was my first professional blur behind some frosted glass at Joe's Stone Crab. And Kurt Russell is terrific. You know, if he's watching, you know, no, but he was really a nice guy. Gave me a lot of inspiration too. Cool. And did a lot of Miami Vice and, you know, Bad Boys 2, Speed 2, a lot of different films.
Bob, we had worked with before on Blackout. He had real small roles, one of the detectives, and I always wanted to work with Bob again, and I thought he'd be great as the Painkiller because he likes playing villains and monsters and stuff like that. So the first choice for that role was Bob Glazier.
You know, like you're rotting away, but at the same time you're powerful, and like you know you have the power, and like you know you can just like destroy things, but you still have in the back of your mind a little bit of compassion because, you know, I really loved Mia, you know, but she was like, I was so grotesque to her, it was like just bad, you know, especially for her.
Well, kind of walking around the set and being around Bob, who's playing the Painkiller, doesn't take much to get into character because he's lurking around corners and walking around and scaring the crap out of me. So I actually asked him a couple times to walk around the corner and scare me. I know it sounds weird, but I'm a scaredy cat. I get scared very easily. So it really wasn't hard preparing for it, and I didn't do much except for go over my lines behind the scenes with Lena, the other character who was playing my best friend in that segment, and also with Jennifer, who was playing Mia. So that wasn't that hard, but just going over lines and putting myself in the place.
This is what happened if you start smoking too much when you're young.
That's what happens when you fall asleep in bed with a cigarette.
Yeah. Remember, folks, only you can prevent forest fires. Robert gave me a lot of insight as to the, you know, where the character was coming from, so I had a lot to build off of, and then I related it to things in my real life, not killing people. You know.
I'm wondering, you know, skulls and all that.
Well, it wasn't killing people, but I've always had a heavy interest in like horror films and, you know, the black arts and all that stuff, you know. So it was cool. Build into it.
For special effects makeup, we brought back Gina Rooney. She had done special effects makeup for When Shadows Make Light Darkest and Blackout.
Well, it was, you know, putting on the skull cap, which I don't have much hair anyway, but we had to put a skull cap on, we had to build up the latex, and then apply the base makeup, and then put on it's sort of like the wet look, and then the clotted blood and stuff like that with the skin hanging off and everything.
We are putting a bald cap on Bob.
What's a bald cap made of?
Latex.
Cool.
You buy it from the factory, and then we covered it with latex and toilet paper.
Liquid latex?
Yes, that's
Cool.
liquid latex and toilet paper, and we colored it in.
It looks disgusting already.
We are putting on makeup to make it look like Bob's skin is falling off.
Nice.
And this is so nice having two beautiful ladies working on me.
Hey, be quiet now.
Tanya, you need the spirit calm down.
You should have seen before I came into this place.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
this is
you did?
all pretty sick. What did you do to his? What did you do there to his lips?
I made them black because we wanted to make it look like he was burned, and in all the other pictures, rather than covering his mouth with this stuff and making it really uncomfortable, we were using black. There should be another scar gel. Yeah.
There's flush effects. Do you need that?
Hey, it ruined my
No.
teeth.
Yeah, that.
Excellent.
Nice.
And that was different because they had to microwave the makeup and everything, so sometimes it was a little bit warm. And then when we're shooting outdoors, it was like 90 degrees at 1 or 2 in the morning. Little bugs are sticking to it and everything. But at least I wasn't getting stung like everybody else.
We brought in John Fish again, who I'd worked with before on Shadows and Blackout and everything else. And he's a wonderful actor, so I wanted him to be involved in Painkiller.
I think one of the most challenging parts for me to play Paul, even though it was a small part, and small parts are the most challenging because you really don't get the opportunity to develop the character in front of the camera. So that means that you have to develop a personality that never ends up on the screen. You have to develop a history. You have to say, okay, Where was this person? What were they doing yesterday? What were they doing 10 minutes before the camera started rolling? And so I had to, with this character, I had to sit down and I had to think about who I was before I was ever in front of the camera.
On this production, I wanted to bring back Nick Colameo, who's a wonderful actor who actually had never acted before. He did When Shadows Lie Darkest. He's just a natural actor.
When I moved to Florida back in 1998, I was hanging out at this club that Robert worked at, and I'd see him there often. You know, he always said hi, and all that. And anyway, we started talking one day about movies, and I'm a huge horror fan, and so was he. At the time, I didn't know he was a filmmaker, but we just started talking about horror films, and at the time, he was doing Shadows. So he asked me if I'd like to come down and help out on the set, doing whatever, and I'm like, yeah, why not? I mean, I've always loved movies, especially horror, and just the chance to work on a set. Basically, that's how it all started, and that's when I did Dean the Bug Guy, because the guy who was supposed to play him never showed. So that's my introduction. That's how it all started.
As far as playing Paul, the different scenes that we played, the culminating scene where I come in and I see Julia. It's been a while. It's been a year and a half since I played the part. But when I saw Julia laying there on the ground, for me, I've been fortunate not to have a lot of close tragedies in my life, but my wife was my girlfriend for 8 years before we got married, and is very much my closest friend in the world. And we're best friends. We would rather hang out with anybody else than each other. I mean, that's... So as soon as I let it pass through my mind, the idea, even the concept of my best friend and person that I love being dead, it was, I didn't even have to, it was not even something that you had to really fake. It just the emotion hits you.
Well, Brandon was basically the boyfriend to one of the main female characters, Becky, I believe, played by Lena. Anyway, he really wasn't a lot different from me. Again, more the rock and roller, didn't really care much about his girlfriend, which is, he'd be more concerned about leaving his car in the park than, his girlfriend potentially being murdered by the Painkiller. So obviously where his priorities lie. So, but if my girlfriend in real life was Becky, I could understand that.
We brought in Jennifer Scambati, which I had never worked with before, and she did a wonderful job as Mia. And we brought in Lena Regan. Cheyenne had brought her in. She had met her before in another casting, and she did a great job with her part too. So I just had a wonderful, wonderful cast for Painkiller.
Like I said before, I wanted to do a zombie segment. And looking at the zombie segment, I knew it would just be too many extras and the makeup, it would be too involved. So basically, when I started talking with Tim Ritter, I thought it would be an honor to have Tim Ritter write a segment for Realms of Blood. So while I was developing Realms of Blood, I asked him. I said, do you have anything that would be like a short, for the movie? And he was like, oh, I have this script. He's been sitting on it for a long time, called the Cologne.
Casting for the Cologne, that was a difficult choice. I didn't know who I was going to cast for the Cologne, for Freddie Allen. I knew it was a different role for any actor, and Nick actually, when I got the script, Nick Colameo had read the script, and when he got done with it, he just came up to me and he says, I want to play this part, I want to do Freddie Allen.
Nick is probably the single most incredible actor I've bumped into in South Florida. And I'm going to call him an actor. I know he still thinks of himself kind of as a he's still experimenting with it, but he's truly gifted. He's a talented actor.
A lot of people that don't know my past, they look at Freddie and go, holy mackerel, it's the total opposite of you. Well, I mean, I was never that pathetically geeky, but through my early teens and even to my mid-teens, I was, to an extent, Freddie Allen.
I never considered myself to be a washed-up stud. But that's kind of the part that I was supposed to play. I was supposed to play a guy who was a stud, but isn't really a stud anymore. You know what I mean? He was obviously probably good at sports, but now he's in an office environment. It doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? He's a little overweight, has lost his. He's no longer the jock, but that's what he was.
I was the straight A student, the bookworm, and I was extremely nerdy, very geeky, totally uncoordinated. I was a mess.
I'm the next door neighbor of Freddie. Never looked at him twice, but then of course he wears this cologne and he just smells so wonderful. And I end up doing various things to him right out in the broad daylight. We won't talk about that. Fox move.
That's what I drew on to play Freddie. I mean, I tried to go back to those times and see what it would be like if that continued and I ended up an adult from that point. Freddie is really the epitome of geekdom. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than him. There's a lot of him I can relate to, but thank God a lot not.
Well, Andrew was like totally not even near the Painkiller. First of all, I had blonde hair. I was like a used car salesman with my outfit, and I was really, really, really proud of my product.
Here, roll it. Action. Okay, ladies. Me, real me. Me.
Freddie knew he was a nerd, right? I mean, he kind of knew he was a nerd and kind of accepted that and kind of just lived his life under that. Me, I was a nerd, but I was trying to pretend that I was the jock.
When Robert showed me the Cologne script, I loved it right away. And having seen Tim Ritter's other films, I saw Truth or Dare and Killing Spree, and I think Creep at that point. I love his style of writing. I think it's very quirky. It's funny. It's dark. It's twisted. And I know I don't look the part, but I went to Robert and I said, I'd love to play Freddie. I love this is a great character. Like I said before, I just drew on my past as a geek, amplified it the way Freddie was written, and said I could have a lot of fun with this.
So that was sort of like a fantasy type thing, and worked out really, really good.
Ladies, when I cue you,
Yes.
he's going to pull the car out backwards, and then he's going to go out this way. So you're going to come down, don't get in front of the car, obviously. And when the car goes that way, just follow him. Just run after the car.
Actually, it was a really good experience for me because it was actually the first script that I directed that I didn't write. And it's different because you approach as a director, you have to approach it differently because you have to really know the script. And that's why I like writing my own scripts, because I know it because I wrote it. And then I don't have to study the script. So I had to take the Cologne and sit down and actually read it almost 50 times to get it. Where the characters are coming from. What exactly is he trying to do? And do it justice. And so that was a really good experience for me. I thought it was really cool. And so it's helped me as a director to be able to direct somebody else's written work.
As at the time of this recording, Tim Ritter hasn't seen the Cologne yet, but I know when he does, he'll be very happy with it.
Blood Runs Cold. Basically, I had an idea for a vampire movie for a long time, about a goth chick that was obsessed with vampires, and I always thought that would make a great feature-length movie, and I never really sat down and developed it, and I don't know why, but I always thought that would be a great movie. So when I had the chance to do Realms of Blood, I thought, well, if I'm going to do a vampire segment, I want to try to develop that story that I had. And so I had a basic idea of where I wanted to go with it. And again, I brought in Kim Allen, and we sat down and we hashed out basically the whole story. When I sat down and I actually wrote the screenplay, and I hate writing, I'm going to tell you people now, I hate writing screenplays, but I force myself to sit down every day and write. And the more I write, the better you get. The more you do things, the better you get at it. And I know I have a problem writing dialogue. So I made a conscious effort when I wrote Blood Runs Cold to really work on the dialogue and make it believable, the dialogue.
And action.
Daddy?
Rachel? Is that you?
It's me.
Stay away! You're one of them.
No.
What?
No, they're not.
What happened?
The first person I thought of to play the villain, the Dweller, the head vampire, was an actress. Her name is Trish Dempsey.
I haven't counted them, but I'm going to say I've probably been in, you know, even if you want to count extra work, probably 60 or more movies.
Cool.
And probably about 20 that had significant roles. And I enjoy them all.
I play Raven, which is a goth chick who gets kind of what she wants, but then realizes that maybe she didn't want it as a vampire. So
It's very nice to meet you, Ms. Dweller, or whatever your name is. Thanks for having me.
I thought you wanted to become a vampire.
Okay, cut.
I know my hair. I'm just gonna go like
No,
this
no,
as
no.
soon as I walk in the
No,
frame.
it's okay. It's okay. What I'm going to do is, I just wanted the wide shot, and I'll pull into a close up on your.
Okay,
on
so
your
as soon as
line.
I walk in, I'll just go like this.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
You ready? That was good.
You know, I knew basically a lot of little, you know, not a lot, but enough about the religion and enough about reading about, you know, with vampires and, you know, studying them and watching all the different movies and everything as to the different results priests have with them, you know, the different interaction and everything else.
Well, I committed to Robert over a year ago to do this film. And I enjoy working with him, and I know that he puts out good work, and I like being affiliated with his films.
yeah, that's the farthest from me. I'm not a club person, so I just basically put myself in the mind frame of for as we were filming it, I was, you know, always on the side doing my gigs and working as a singer. So that helped me to prepare for those days, especially when you're very tired and you have to get that emotion drawn out of you, and just being completely tired and overdrawn with everything you're doing and all that stuff is definitely helping to prepare for it.
What is wrong? What happened? What's wrong with you? Get out of here! No, I'm fine. Oh my God, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. I'm fine. Really? You're hot. What? You come on. Get out of here. No, we have to get you to the doctor. No, please, I'm fine. Get out. You're shaking. Get out of here.
Yeah, Rip was a lot of fun because today I'm not super into any kind of goth scene or anything like that, but I like the music, I like the people, I like the crowd. So to play a goth character with today's music was pretty cool, and that's the way I approached it. From having gone to goth clubs or fetish parties and seeing these kind of people, it was a cool role to play. I enjoy.
I told Robert, look, I'd like to go with a completely new look. I'd like to go with, you know, piercings and you know, the whole fetish punk look with blonde hair spiked and everything like that. And he said, I love it, do it. So I, you know, a couple days before the shoot, went out, got my hair dyed blonde, and it's still blonde because, you know, if there's any pickup shots or anything like that, I don't know. The vote isn't in. I got some people saying they hate it, some people say they love it. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see.
The Dweller is about 1,000 years old, she is the supreme queen of the vampires, of pure blood. But she's searching for the ultimate power, absolutely the ultimate power, so that she can walk around in the daylight and not be afraid of crucifixes, garlic, or whatever else you want to ward away vampires with. Yeah.
And that is one of the first roles that I have ever had to cry on, with coming into Father Crow and then the other one, and the one with Father Crow was really emotional because it was, you know, I had a lot with my parental, you know, I mean, you're talking to a parent, so you can remember, everybody can recall the arguments you've had with your parent and all that good stuff, but just emotional, just like, so.
Well, if you watch all the horror films back from when they first started making them, there have been some very famous male actors that were known for their parts as playing a villain. I mean, you think of Vincent Price, Peter Lorre. you immediately think of horror film when you hear their names. That's what they were known for. They were taken seriously. There's never been a female actor that's been taken seriously as a villain. Men have done it traditionally all along, but there have not been that many women that can play a villain and be scary. And I'd kind of like to be the first.
You're definitely in the right place.
Why is it so quiet in here? I thought this was a party.
We wanted to wait until our guest of honor arrived.
I just worked off the religious character, the religious side of me, you know, instead of the, you know, Painkiller side, I worked with the positive side, which looks good. It worked out.
And action.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, I've got an appointment.
Excuse me, do you know where Father Crow is?
I don't know if Father Crow.
Please, I'm his daughter.
Rachel? Rachel? Okay, I know where he's at. He's staying with me. I can take you to him now, but we've got to go. I have another appointment.
Okay, got it.
Robert is extremely creative. He doesn't and he doesn't give up. Like if something just isn't gonna work, and he's like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and yada yada yada, and he's always like, he gets a little scared. He gets afraid. He's kind of like, but he's not afraid to admit that he's afraid. Do you know what I mean? I like that. He's a very humble person to work with, and if something just is not gonna work, most people just throw their hands up and say, well, I can't do this. I just can't do this, and he finds a way. He finds a way to make it work, and he's very dependable. Like, I know that if I would need something, he would be there, and I know that if there's anybody to depend on as a director and as editing, because, you know, he does a lot of this stuff with your help, you know, but when he does it, he really gets it done.
With Robert, he sort of, you know, it's sort of like a friend talking to you instead of like a boss commanding you to do something, which, you know, with some other directors, you know, they're like telling you what to do instead of suggesting what to do. So it makes you more comfortable, and you can do your job better.
Robert is brilliant when it comes to knowing what an actor is capable of and getting it out of them and getting them to do more sometimes. And you know, he's willing to do 15 or 20 takes to get what he knows the actor's capable of. And a lot of directors would throw a person off a set and say, I'm not willing to work with this person because I can't waste 15 to 20 takes of my time.
His direction is exceptional. He knows how to direct actors. And as quite an experienced actor, I need a lot of direction. He's very patient, and he knows what he wants, and it's very simple. And I've seen through the other directors I've worked with, and I've heard stories of even, you know, the biggies. Everything's overcomplicated, and it just gets out of hand. He's straightforward. This is what I want. This is bing, bang, boom, done.
Robert is awesome. I love working with him. He's one of my absolute top favorite directors to work with. And I like him because he really tells you what he wants. And he will do it and do it and do it over and over and over and take after take until he gets what he wants. And I can trust him to make me look good in the end.
Working on REALMS with the different segments and the different approaches to directing different stories has really prepared me for Woods. To be prepared and know what I want when I go into directing a movie, and I've always done that. I never worked with a storyboard, and there's a lot of directors that do, and I could sit there and make storyboards and I won't even use it, because when I get on set, I get into this kind of zen mode. It's basically I direct with feeling. I take the moment and I don't even think about it, and I place my camera, and I don't sit there and think where I'm going to place my camera. I just do it, and I direct it because I know what I want. I have the vision. It's in my head. If I don't have the vision in my head, I can't direct. I can't make the movie if I can't see it. If I can't see the whole movie, forget it. Might as well not do the movie.
You played.
Is it time for my interview right now?
Is it time for your interview?
Cool.
If you want.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're a dork.
You're not even here.
I'm sorry.
Hey, this is mine. Everything's not about you, Rob.
I never have anything to say.
Oh, except that we know the best producer-director in the world.
Who's that?
Robert Massetti.
Is this a brazen documentary?
The scene in Painkiller, the first segment, when we're in the middle of the dark woods, and I know it's coming. You know, we all know that I'm there to act and doing my thing. And we go over there, and she's, you know, you'll see in the film, she's laying on the ground, and it's a scene where I'm going out of the car to help her up, and I think she's dead and whatever. And I go over there, and she turns around, and it was the first take, and she scared the ever-loving crap out of me. She turns around, and she goes, you gotta help me, you gotta help me. And I was like, oh my God, I jumped like literally 7 feet. And I think he's got a take of it or something somewhere, so.
All right, calm down. We gotta get out of here, okay? I'm gonna take you to the car, but we gotta get out of here now. He's coming, God, he's coming. We gotta get out of here. Look, I know. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's go, right?
Okay, good. You're scared the hell out of me. I wasn't ready for that reaction.
You got me. I was like,
let's do it again. Let's do it again.
I got you back, didn't I? What? I got her back.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
The whole thing.
That was cool. That was really good. That was cool. I liked it. That was good. You scared the crap out of everybody.
I'm sorry.
That was good.
Come on her ass. She was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You needed a natural reaction.
They kept going.
She was like,
whoa.
In the moment, and then she just got.
but you picked it up good. That was good. That was good. No, that was good. She agreed to all this good. I wanted so bad to laugh.
I know.
I'm like, grabbing your head, like, we gotta get out of here. I'm like, fine.
Remember your spot here?
All right, let's try it again.
Now I smoke, all right, and we're out filming Painkiller in the woods. At that time, it must have been 4:30 in the morning. It's about 95 degrees out, 300% humidity. So I wasn't doing anything that night, pretty much but running boom, and I was just drenched with sweat. My pants must have gained 15 pounds, and now I got to start running. So if it looks like I'm about to die, that's real. That ain't acting.
As the Painkiller, I would walk up and just stand next to Sheyenne. You know, just like stand there, and she would turn and just freak out. You know, I mean, everybody was. I mean, it was like, you know, could I just stand there and just go crazy?
And then of course in Realms we tried to do the outside scene with the priests, and it rained. And of course it would rain on the day that we had all the rented equipment, and we were spending money on the rented equipment, and we crossed our fingers it wouldn't rain when we had rented the cop car. And that's probably the only time that we got lucky, and it was just hot as hell. Oh man, I mean, there's so much stuff. I could use up your entire interview talking about the weird and wacky stuff, but I'll save that for the commentary.
So it's not really a question of maybe what he could do more, because like I said, everything that in a director he is. It's just certain things around him that are limiting him. So what he can improve on is a budget. So if there's anybody out there watching this, that man needs a budget. He'd be dangerous with one. So yeah, that's
cool. All right. He's had a lot.
Budget?
Budget! We need a budget!
He's ready.
And with a budget, as probably everybody else is saying this, and it's just you know what you are limited with no budget, and you're forced to make compromises. Everybody is, and you know it's unfair to look at that as a room for improvement when you're forced to limit yourself by your means.
If Hollywood knew what they were doing, they would come to Florida. Because there are the actors here, and they would go and they would put out a casting for an independent film, and the people that show up, they'd put them in a budgeted film, because those people are the hardest working people in the business.
I had the dream cast for any movie. I mean, I all the people that have worked on this movie, they are so cool. Everyone gave 100%, and here we are. We're making this feature-length movie. People are taking time out of their job, you know, going out or doing whatever to work on this movie for free, and they didn't come on and just do it half-assed. Everyone gave 150%, and I thank you all. You did a great job.
Well, we have a website, idigressmusic.com. That's IDIGRESS music.com. And then that's also linked from my site, CheyenneRivers.com. That's spelled with an SH.
The website, www.fearfilm.com, And if you go there, you can access all of our other sites and all of the movies. Of course, this is Realms of Blood, so you can also go to realmsofblood.com.
Of course, my producer, John Fish, working with John, that we've worked together since 1999, and it's always a pleasure to work with John because John's a great producer. Whatever you need, he gets it. That's what a producer does. He does it great.
We love making entertainment for you and continue to enjoy doing it. If we can do it full time for you, we'd love to.
We've culminated this family, and now it's all come together as this little Fear Film family that we have going on. It's awesome. I love it.
We appreciate your support, and obviously since you're watching this, you bought the movie, so we really appreciate it, or you have somebody who bought the movie, so go thank them.
And I thank you for watching Realms of Blood, and I appreciate you buying this DVD. It helps independent filmmaking, and you're doing a great service to all of us.
Anyways, it's been cool. Thanks.
Fear Film all the way.
They should go out and buy Phobias, damn it.
That's probably what they should do. There's your plug for Phobias. You were looking for a plug, you got it.
If you're watching Realms of Blood and you haven't seen Phobias, go out and buy it. It's cheap. It's worth it.